trying to go out and find a spot for this camera. We've been having a horrible time getting on big bucks this fall, even though I know I've got good spots, but I got kind of a hard break line right here in the timber. Real nasty, thick stuff, open stuff here. Got some oaks, so I'm just gonna go find a decent spot and hang it up. All right, we'll just put it here. Took my little brother out on the youth hunt the other day, and I actually saw 2 does, and he could have smoked both of them. But I think he was wanting a buck. He wasn't, I don't know if he just wouldn't be proud of shooting a doe, even though I don't think he shot a deer yet, ever. But, or if he just didn't want to go through the work of butchering it and all that stuff. But wasn't something that he would be proud to take, so we waited, didn't get on any bucks.
Whatever, David, seems reasonable to shoot. Because he can kill anything except for dogs and cats.
Well, technically.
Domestic animals.
I was kind of reminded in my devotions this morning, I was reading in 1 Corinthians 10, and Paul kind of is addressing some issues that were in the church of Corinth. Essentially, we had a lot of people that were boasting and comparing each other to other people, and Paul essentially was calling them out and saying, hey, you guys need to stop. And they were even doing it to Paul because I guess when Paul was writing these books of the Bible to the different churches, he was a very good writer, and so people had an expectation when he came to the church, and then when he came, they were like, oh, this guy's, you know, he's not a good speaker, he's not this, he's not that. I feel like there's a lot of this same type of stuff going on in the hunting industry where you've got people trying to kill the biggest deer, the biggest trophy rooms, you know, kill the biggest deer in the hardest way. And a lot of it, I feel like, is coming out of a sense of boastfulness, of pride. And while a lot of this isn't wrong, like if you're just trying to challenge yourself or up your game or something, like that's not wrong. But like, I think you just got to ask yourself the question, why? You know, James 4:6 says that God resists the proud, but he gives grace to the humble. The other thing is, if you think about it, Paul pretty much goes into that chapter and he starts listing off all these reasons why he could boast and, you know, be prideful, but he wasn't. So essentially, if you think about it, Paul had like a spiritual trophy room. Like he had done more than any of all these other religious people. Like he lists all these things. He had gotten imprisoned, he gotten beaten, he went, you know, days on end without food and shelter, like all these things for God. And he had this huge list, and he's like, you know what, if anybody can be prideful, I can be prideful. But then he goes on and he says, I actually boast in my weaknesses because that's when the power of Christ rests upon me. See, and that's the thing, I feel like it's super easy to talk about like all of your successes, all of your big buck stories, the big bucks that you've killed, and it takes a true hunter to talk about their weaknesses, talk about their failures, and the areas that they need to improve. And the crazy thing is I feel like that is actually what helps most people, whether it's in podcasts or YouTube videos. It's when people start talking about, you know, hey, this is an area that I need to get better in, and not just bragging about, oh yeah, you know, I shot this and I shot that, or I did this and that. And like, the sad thing is, I feel like a lot of youth hunters in particular, and new hunters, are getting into this sport because they want to have that bragging right. They want to be able to build their board of trophy whitetails, and they don't understand how hard it is. And you know, sometimes you can have somebody kill a buck that doesn't always, you know, go by somebody's trophy standards, and so says something to them about how big their buck is, and they get discouraged and they don't hunt again. So I guess just this week I would ask yourself, just like I'll be asking myself, you know, and the things that I'm doing and the posts that I'm sharing, is it out of a prideful attitude, or is it out of attitude that is, you know, out of humility, where I'm trying to help people and trying to make the world a better place? I also think about the fact that, you know, God says that he resists the proud but gives grace to the humble. So I know that I want to make sure that I don't let myself fall into an attitude of pride where I'm not allowing God to work in my life because of my pride.